is Debbie Gibson, and you are watching The Music Scene.
This is 50 Cent, and you're watching The Music Scene.
We're Fools and Horses, and you're watching The Music Scene.
I'm Earl Slick, and you're watching The Music Scene.
Hi, and welcome to The Music Scene. I'm your host, Stephanie DeGraw. Today we have Ofi with us. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We've got a lot to talk about today, and we're going to jump right in and find out where he's from.
So I was born in Maine, and then we moved to Guam, where my little sister was born. And then we moved a bunch of other places that I'm too young to remember. And we finally landed in California. And then I grew up in a place called Victorville.
Okay, that's the high desert.
It's the high.
It's different than the coast.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll never talk bad about it because that's where I grew up. But as soon as I could get out, I did.
And then you moved to the coast for a bit, didn't
yeah.
you? Uh-huh.
I lived in Panama for a couple years. Okay. And then after Panama, I went to Huntington Beach.
That's where.
And then that's what kind of where I claim now.
Right.
And anybody that knows me is like, you're from Victorville. I'm like, I don't say that out loud. I'm from Huntington Beach.
Oh, right.
And yeah.
And what's interesting too with your backstory is that you did some other things before you got so heavily involved in music. And now he's in Utah, and we're happy about that. And let's talk about the career. It was more of a financial career that you were into in California.
Yes. So I actually got a career in selling life insurance. I mean, I didn't even know that was a career, but the owner of this company approached me and he said, hey, you're going to need a good job. I like you. You like people. Right. And I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. And I loved it, actually.
Well, you're a people person, so.
Thank you. I absolutely loved it. I loved meeting people, and you go to their homes and you have a product that you want to help them with. And again, I'm very big into authenticity and being sincere. And people knew that when I was going to their homes, it was because I really felt like I could help them. Yes. So I did that for 6-7 years. And then I got into annuities, and I got into retirement plans and helping people with that, and kind of helping more of like a financial planner.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, looking at me, would you let me touch your money? No, I didn't look like this back in the day.
You had shorter hair.
Short hair.
That's right. I saw one of those pictures online.
Did you? Oh, my goodness.
Looked like a different
Completely different person.
Yeah.
But I would never.
But this fits what you're doing now, so that's great.
It does.
And you also, right now, you're doing more pop music, pop rock, I guess you could say. But before you transitioned into that, let's talk about what you were doing before this, musically.
So right around the time of trying to figure out what I wanted for a career, I was in a very heavy metal band.
Okay.
And I grew up with older brothers that listened to Metallica and Korn and Slipknot, and I loved that music.
Right.
Even to this day, I'll put it on and just like you feel something.
Yeah.
Right? And so I loved it, and it was a lot of fun, but there really isn't, and this is my opinion, but I don't think there's a lot of longevity in a new band being heavy metal, because there's already so many great bands that have paved the way. Now, if you make it, more power to you. If you can do it, I knew I didn't have what it took at that time to be in a heavy metal band that could do it, to be screaming night after night, to be, it didn't, something was off.
Okay.
It didn't fit. And then I met with a producer, Nathan Hempel, who's my producer today, and I owe, I'd say 99% of my music career to him, to Nathan Hempel.
Very nice.
Not only one of my best friends or my brother, but I mean, he took me, and he has a great story. I'll have to have you interview him later.
All right.
But yeah, he had a great story and just said, I want to help you, man. I wouldn't be working with you if I didn't believe in you.
Right.
And
he saw a lot within you that you didn't have to stay in that area of music. You could branch out into the rock pop that you do now.
Yeah, he's the reason I stopped screaming and went more into, because pop just means popular, right? Because I think there's a bad taste in people's mouths when you say like, I do pop music, because you automatically think of pop artists that, and I'm like, pop is popular. Maroon 5, Imagine Dragons, they're pop music because it's popular. Foo Fighters, I think Foo Fighters is pop music, and people will be like, what? I think they're rock music, don't get me wrong. But I mean, Dave Grohl's my idol. Linkin Park and Foo Fighters, my two favorite top bands, and I would consider them rock and pop because they're popular. They're on the radio.
Yes.
So he was like, stop screaming. I want you to sing, and I want to get deeper with your lyrics. I want you to talk about real stuff.
Right.
And so I'm very, very grateful for the bandmates that I had, for the journey in the heavy metal. But this is what I really have always wanted to do. When I'd write my solo stuff, it sounds like Ofi. When I
Right.
write with the band, it was heavy metal, but I started doing this and I was like, I love this stuff. I love singing my songs now. Not saying I didn't love them before, but
Sure.
this is who I
And
want
now
to be.
it's really opening up your heart to let some of these thoughts that you have out.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you'd indulge me to tell everyone a really interesting story I heard from you when I was at Sundance listening to one of your shows, and you talked about a trip you went on.
Oh, yeah.
And it was pretty much life-changing, I would say. So let's talk about that.
Like I told you before, I don't really like talking about personal experiences unless there's a camera and a microphone. So let's get into it. Yeah, I took this trip. And it was up at Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is kind of funny because we're like in the Walker Farms, and it's kind of like this, you know?
Right.
But without going into too much crazy, unnecessary detail, I got separated from my group, and we were climbing the Grand Tetons. And before we went on this particular hike, there was a ranger that was saying, "Be careful. We found 4 grizzlies in the area. There's moose." Wow. I don't hike. If anybody knows me, I don't hike. That's not what I do. I don't even like outdoor stuff. It's not who I am.
But you were up there with a bunch of friends.
I was up there with,
being a good sport. Okay,
being a good sport.
We'll go on the darn hike.
We'll go do it. And I had actually injured my knee playing racquetball. Like I'm 70 years old all of a sudden, but I injured my knee. And so we do this hike, and I don't even think it was a long hike. I think it was 4 to 7 miles. And I say not a long hike because at the time, we were doing hikes like 12, 13 miles. So with backpacks. So this was a smaller hike, but I was dying. My knee was killing me. And I told the group, look, you guys go ahead of me. I'm in a bad mood. And when I'm in a bad mood, everybody's in a bad mood. So I said, you guys just go, I'll be behind you. And they said, oh, you shouldn't be alone. You shouldn't be alone. And I was like, I'll be fine, just go. Right. They took off faster than I thought humanly possible, and they were gone within minutes. And I'm like looking down, like, they're gone. And it was at that moment that the panic set in because I don't know how to survive in the outdoors, in the wilderness. I'll admit that on this. Like
well, who does, right? I mean, being up there truly alone at that moment.
It was terrifying. Yeah. And I was like, man, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this because I'm lost. Everybody that knows me, don't ever tell me north, south, east, and west. I'm not Lewis and Clark. Tell me right or left, straight, back. Yes. I don't know. I don't know how to navigate. And so I get lost, and I end up just going completely the wrong way, climbing down these little rivers, these mountains. Oh, wow. And I get to this big old clearing of like where the bears, I guess, had just finished hanging out because there's bear fur everywhere. There's bear poop. There's bear prints. Wow. And I mean, I'm like shaking, and I just think, I'm going to die doing what I hate. I do not want to die hiking.
That's not the way to go.
No, I don't want to do that. And I'm just sitting there, and at the time I was in a relationship, and her and I were both deciding if we should end that relationship or not. Right. As well as the company that I was in, the life insurance going to annuity, they would ask me to go to Hawaii. And it was way more money than I could have ever dreamed of. We would have been set for life. But it was to go out there for about 10 years and no more music. And so, it was just...
you would have been...
It would have been a business.
That was the path, left or right.
Yeah, left or right, running a business. And I'm out there, and the whole time, I mean, fortunately, I wish for Hollywood, this story was like, I saw bears and I wrestled them, and, like the Revenant, That didn't happen. I didn't see any bears, but I prayed that I wouldn't. I prayed, and I was, please don't let me die out here. But I kept thinking, if I did die right now, am I able to look back at my life on earth and say, that was awesome? And at that particular moment in my life, I would have said, nah, I didn't do what I wanted to do. I didn't ever just believe in myself enough to go for music. Right. And I was in a relationship that we both are now better off without that relationship. And I just thought, this is not what I wanted. Life should be amazing. I should wake up every morning and just be like, woo, I'm alive. I love it. Right. And that's not how I felt. Okay. And the whole time that I thought I was going to die, I didn't once think of the money. All I thought about was music. All I thought about was, why haven't I just given it a shot? And so I made myself a promise and a deal. And I said, if I get off of this mountain, somehow find my way down, I'm going to do it. I'm going to turn that job down, that career. And I'm going to call my producer, Nate, and tell him I'm doing it. And he had been trying to get me to go for a couple of years. Like, dude, do this full time. You can't, in this profession, and you know exactly what it is, you're either all in or nothing. Like, it doesn't work.
And it's scary because the risk is so high. Yeah. But if it's your passion, you certainly had the dramatic way of discovering that you already knew it was a passion, but this really struck me as amazing that you really were at that crossroads. And
I've always said, if you want to know how important something is in your life, take it away.
Right.
Because as soon as it's gone, it's like, me thinking that I didn't have music as an option anymore because I was going to die. I was like, that's not what I want.
You weren't ready to go. No way.
And so I got down, and I actually, I wear, everybody that knows me, I wear this ring, and it's got the Grand Tetons on them.
Oh,
because as soon as I got off that mountain, I said, all right, I'm going to forget about this experience. Hopefully never. I need to go buy, something anytime I freak out. And for the last year, so I've been doing this about a year and a half now, full time, every time I get scared, because again, you know the industry, it's terrifying. Every time I get scared, I just look back at this and say, nah, man.
You're right where you're supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If I was to die now, I'd be like, I did what I wanted to. I'm living the path that I wanted to. And it takes a lot of courage to do that, for anybody to do that.
Well, yes. And you even moved physically and gave up a lot of comforts, a guaranteed salary. You're dealing with snow now in Utah. I mean, a lot of annoyances.
Probably the worst part of the move was the snow.
I'm just kidding, because we both don't really like the cold or snow, but we love Utah.
Yeah.
But you have to make certain sacrifices when you pursue your passion. And I really appreciate you sharing that personal moment. And now let's talk about what you're doing now and some of the plans you've got.
So after my producer, Nathan Hempel, he created the record label 432. And again, like, it's not a plug or anything. He's not paying me to say this. He's just a good guy. He just really is.
Yeah.
Created this record label, signed me to it, and we changed the name to Ofi. And Ofi, when I spent 2 years as a missionary in Panama, and these kids were always saying this phrase, everything, Ofi this, your shoes are Ofi, your boots are Ofi, your jacket.
It's kind of like cool? Or was that
it's cool, official, legit, awesome.
Okay.
And so when we were thinking, I actually saw this the other day, I had a list of band names, probably 330 band names. And the last two, the second to last one was Ofi. And I just was racking my brain, and I finally gave up and said, Nate, what do you think about this? What do you think of Ofi? What does it mean? So I told them, how do you spell it? O-F-I. It's perfect. I love it. It's easy to say. Everybody can say it. A little kid could say it. And so from there, we've created awesome music that I'm proud of.
Yes, and what's really interesting that I have to let everyone know is that you're entertaining all by yourself with your guitar and singing, but you've been able to find the perfect band for you. Yeah. And as we all know, that's really hard to do, find
Drummers.
the right band.
It is, because it's a marriage to not just one person, but to however many are in the band.
All their personalities.
All the personalities, the quirks, the way their mind goes, their ego, their feelings. There's a lot to consider. And right now I'm in the dating period with these guys where they're brilliant. Are
they all from Utah County or from
Utah?
Utah in general. Okay, great.
Which if they're not, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure they're all from Utah. But the running joke right now in the band with these guys, they're all classically trained. Like they all, I can't tell you how many rehearsals they'll be like, oh, what note is that? Is that a G add 9 7 6 4 whatever? And I'm like, I'm pressing 3 on the fretboard. I mean, it's humbling watching them just know what key and all that. I never learned that stuff. I don't read music, but I write from the heart, and that's what they say. It's like, no, you just keep writing, we'll just keep playing. And I missed. I did 2 years solo, and that was just networking, branding, building myself, working on me getting ready for the spotlight.
Right.
And this sounds, I'm trying not trying to sound pretentious, but I believe in myself enough to know that I'm going to make it, that I've already started.
Not pretentious. That's confidence.
Well,
I love that, because you've got to have confidence in this business. There's too many obstacles that come along that can knock you down. You got to have the confidence to keep going.
I just see this. I'm telling you, ever since the Grand Tetons, I've seen the future. Like, I've seen the future. Not like that, but I've seen myself. I've seen
your vision.
Yeah, I've seen. I have what it takes, and so I'm like, I prepared myself for what, as much as possible. What could this be like? What are things that other artists get in trouble with that I need to avoid and how to keep myself sane and healthy. And so it's been cool the last 2 years to just build and focus on myself. And I know in life, not a lot of people get that opportunity to just take time to just focus on yourself, not be selfish, but to take care of yourself.
Right.
And so now with these guys, it's been cool because I can finally be at a point where I'm like, yeah, let's get a band together.
You're ready.
And I love it. It's so much more fun sharing the stage with a bunch of guys that you love. It's very nice.
That's great. And so you've got some possible, well, we had gigs set up. Unfortunately, we're in the middle of the coronavirus situation. So you're probably doing a lot of songwriting. And does the band still get together and rehearse? And what are kind of your next steps for the next couple of months? And then after that, we can address the long-term goal.
So, and what's going on right now in the world is terrifying because of the lack of information and because of the hype of other people that don't know what's going on. They're saying things. That part's terrifying. You know, I think
kind of the misinformation and the panic.
And I know people are doing the best that they can. And so that's kind of scary. You know, you think of little kids that are scared, small businesses. We talk about venue owners that are struggling because shows are canceled. Everybody that's behind the scenes, everybody that makes up the shows, it's scary. And so for right now, I mean, we had a few universities booked. We had a tour that we were looking at to do. And it was just, I was so excited. I had probably about 3 more days and then we were going to start announcing stuff and then the outbreak. And so I was like, well, I'm glad we didn't announce it and have to cancel, right? Yeah, all right.
Well, hopefully it'll only be a few months and we can get ahead of this and then move forward. Yeah. And you've got possibly a trip overseas. Are you thinking about still going? And can you share with us that trip?
I can share contractually just a tiny bit. I'm going to Israel, and it's an opportunity to do something that I think is really going to be one of those moments that I look back and say, I'm so grateful I took that shot and did it.
So you are really into good causes and sharing your music for a good cause. And I appreciate that. And you've also been addressing some of the mental health issues by doing concerts and things like that. Was there any point in your life that you felt some challenges?
Yeah, definitely challenges that drove me to realizing I needed something, you know. When I think behind music is I want to do more than just write a cool song. I am so grateful for the messages and phone calls that I've gotten where they said, you know, I was going through a really hard time and I just listened to Gasoline, which is one of the songs I wrote about mental illness. Same thing with Barricades. Barricades was my first song I ever wrote with Nate about overcoming sadness and was it depression or loneliness or whatever. Because I think mental illness or needing a healthier mental status or state of mind, I think there's more faces than we just say depression and anxiety. There's a lot. There's loneliness. There's
a lot to it.
Yeah, there's being so exhausted and just feeling like you can't overcome. And so anyway, like when I was 16, there was a time that I tried to commit suicide because again, it wasn't that life was just so overwhelming. It just, at that point in my mind, and again, being older, I would look back at myself and say, hey, it's okay. It gets a lot better. This isn't it. It gets better. But when you're there, you're in that moment, you don't think of the long picture. All I kept thinking to myself was, life's never going to hand me anything better than what I have now. And it's just not going to get better. And so I remember this night, I dressed up all in black and I went to the busiest road in Victorville, laid face down and just waited for cars to come. This busy highway, just waited because I knew, okay, I just wanted to feel something. You know, like you
were so empty inside.
Empty that I just didn't.
And thank you for sharing that because a lot of times we think, well, a person's got to be, like you said, really thinking a certain way, but your mental health can go through different kinds of feelings where suicide might be appealing to you when you're in the middle of it. Yeah.
And you understand that it's, I'm going to die, but at that time you look at all your options. Do I stay in this relationship that's just withering away? Do I do this? And that appeal comes where it's just like, this is the best bet for everybody. You know, and you really think that. And I'm so fortunate that as I laid there on the busiest highway, not one car came that night. I'm talking about 10 minutes went by.
Wow.
And I'm laying there thinking, are you serious? Like I'm ready.
You were ready, but we weren't ready for you to go.
And
God had other plans, I guess.
He did. And I remember getting up. I called my best friend and told him what I did, him and his mom. Because we were 16, we didn't drive yet. I mean, we had permits, but his mom picked me up and they took me to their house and I lived with them. And, his name's Angel. And it's kind of funny. He's,
ironic.
to this day, one of my best friends. And I just think with my music now, that's what I want to do. I want people to listen to it and get something from it. I want whatever it is.
Right. And that's the beautiful part. Yeah. We can interpret your music
for
our situation.
And I don't ever want to spell it out. One thing I love about songwriting with my producer is he's like, you don't want to spell it out too much where people have no other option other than just believe or feel exactly how you're making them feel. Oh. Leave it open so that people can, again, you listen to Gasoline or Barricades, or A Little Bit Dangerous, people tell me what they think that song's about. And I'm like, that's interesting. And in my head, I don't ever correct them, but in my head, I'm like, that's not what I wrote that song about at all. And I think it's just knowledge. I believe knowledge is power. And like when I was a kid, I used to cut myself. And as I'm older, I realized it was because that was my limited understanding of how to deal and process emotion, because whoever was around me couldn't physically see my emotion. Right. So I did that as a way for them to see I'm hurting. And when you get help, I would never say that I've struggled with depression, but I've had times that I was depressed. Okay. And I've had relationships where people have struggled with serious depression. Mm-hmm. And there was a relationship that I was in and that's what she went through. And I, now being a little bit older, and even during that relationship, I'm like, that's gotta be so hard to not want to eat, not want to talk, or not want to get out of bed and stay there for 17, 18 hours. That's hard. Right. And I think if more and more people can talk about it and feel like I'm not alone. Yes. And anybody that knows me on a personal level, I talk in analogies all the time. So just this quick one. Sure. When you're in a dark room, the reason why it feels good to open up is because you open up and there's light out there and a little bit gets in. And sometimes it's just enough to say, okay, I trust this light because they're just trying to help me see. And you find those people that you can be completely open with, and it's not dark for you with that person because they have enough light to help you. And I've been so fortunate in my life to have so many lighthouses or lights to help me. Mm-hmm. And I think with the youth, that's my thing. I think someday I'm going to have kids. Mm-hmm. And if they're struggling, talk to dad, talk to me, talk to their mom, talk to your friends. People, if you had a broken arm, you wear a cast and you have people sign it. Right. If you've got something broken emotionally, wear that cast and let your friends sign it emotionally. Right. Let them be there with you. And that's really takes a lot of bravery to allow people to see that you might be hurting inside. And yet, if we do reach out, we can get some of that light back inside our lives. And I appreciate that very much. And, you are so introspective, and that's beautiful. And I know it comes out in his songs, and he's got some happy songs too. You've got they're 99% happy.
Wonderful discussion, but you've got some happy songs, and you've got songs about life that we can relate to, different things that happen in our lives. And now that you're moving forward, what are some of the bits of advice that you want to give? Because I know you've even you were a judge on a Battle of the Bands or something, and
I've done that. I've done public speaking where I'll go to schools, or sometimes there are religious groups, and I'll speak to 400 or 500 kids and just talk to them. And so, two things I'd say: one, spend time with the elderly. And it's weird. I hope I caught people off guard with that.
You did.
I'm not looking at my manager when I say elderly. I love you, Gary. But I mean, learn. Yeah. Knowledge is power. And when you spend time with adults, you pick up the things that you don't have to experience for yourself because they went through it. And if you have a mentor, that's number two, get a mentor. Mm-hmm. I have been blessed to have really good mentors that believed in me, that never once has it been like, are they trying to take advantage of me and my career? I just had people that wanted me to succeed. And then the third thing is, especially in music or any walk of life, anything that you're doing, learn to separate the emotion from the logic. Mm-hmm. Because there's too many times that you'll miss out on great opportunities because of emotion. Mm-hmm. And there's times that, like if I had made some of my decisions when I was younger, based off of logic, I think I'd have more money nowadays, but,
wouldn't we all?
Yeah, wouldn't we all? But I think that key of being able to separate emotion and business deals, and being able to be in a band and go on tour and not have emotions run so high. And I had this asked before, hey, how can you be emotionless when you're writing music that provokes so much emotion? And I said, well, there's times when I'm making business deals or business decisions and deals, and we're talking to record labels, or we're talking to people that are going to film music videos. It's logic, it's business time. But when I'm writing, when I'm recording, and when I'm on stage, that's when all that emotion just goes, and I can pour myself into that song. You know, A Little Bit Dangerous, that song. I'm not going to give it away what it's about, but that song has some of the most raw, pure, unfiltered emotions that I've ever had. And it was for me, writing it was, I'm going to be courageous enough to say some things here, and I'm going to write it, and I'm going to be a little bit dangerous to do what I want to do with my life. Despite everybody saying, you should do this, and you're great at this, you should do, they're not going to live your life.
Right.
They're not. And at the end of the day, you're the one that's got to be happy taking care of yourself.
Absolutely. Man, we could talk all day. This is great. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm real excited. You've got to stick around because we've got Ofi and his band, and they're going to be playing for us. Thank you for watching. This is Stephanie DeGraw for the Music Scene.
Am I alone, breathing life? Am I supposed to be on fire? As I sail across the wind, Mother Earth will take me in. And I'll never be the one to bring it down. I'll never be the one to bring it down. No. Whoa, whoa, whoa. 'Cause I do what I want. You can't stop this feeling in my heart. 'Cause I don't need a lighter to ignite the flame inside of me. I'll be burning brighter every time. Can't put out this fire with gasoline in my veins. While they sleep, well, I don't wanna sleep anymore, no more a sheep, like a zombie on the bathroom floor. I make it up as I go, but everybody knows that the world belongs to the rebels, that the world belongs to the rebels, that the world belongs to the rebels, and I do what I want. You can't stop this fuel in my heart. Lighter to ignite the flame inside of me. I'll be burning brighter every time. Can't put out this fire with gasoline in my veins. Yeah, oh, oh. 'Cause ashes will fall when I am done. You're gonna know my name. Turn the world into my playground. I guess I never learned to stay down. I turn the world into my playground. I guess I never learned. I don't need a lighter to ignite this flame inside of me. I'll be burning brighter every time. Can't put out this fire with gasoline in my veins. Yeah, oh, oh. 'Cause ashes will fall need a moment. I need to focus and keep my head down low. Be careful not to move too slow, 'cause you were meant for me. So here I go to risk everything. Yeah, it's all or nothing now. It's all or nothing now. Well, maybe I'm just young and so bad, so sweet and a little bit dangerous. Oh, so dangerous. My eyes closed, are they open? I need something to fill this hole. Is this hole that I'm feeling? 'Cause it's all I'm waiting for. I'm just a little bit dangerous. I need a minute to think about this. What am I waiting for? Do I really want to lose this one? So I'll put myself on the line. I'm gonna take your hand, take a time to get ready for the best days of our life. Well, maybe I'm just young and so bad, so sweet and a little bit dangerous. My eyes closed, are they open? I need something to fill this hole. Is this hope that I'm feeling? Because it's all I've waited for. I'm just a little bit dangerous. I'm just. So I'm gonna take this chance and let you in, and breathe this bad to breathe you in. I swear I won't let you down. 'Cause maybe I'm just young and stupid, and a little bit dangerous. My eyes closed for a moment, long enough to fill this hole. Is this all that I'm feeling? 'Cause it's all I've waited for. I'm just a little bit dangerous. I'm just dangerous.